When you think of butlers, the names Alfred or Jeeves usually spring to mind. White-gloved, well-mannered, usually British, and a wee bit stodgy. But the modern-day butler has changed as you once knew him. Butler-valets are still very much in demand, serving the elite in their homes and in corporate settings. Except today, butlers must be prepared to handle a whole lot more. I'm here with Robert Wynn Parry. Robert is the CEO of RWP Solutions, a luxury lifestyle placement firm here in New York City. Thanks for joining us, Robert.
Thank you.
First off, can you give me your professional background? How did you come into this industry?
My professional background actually comes from a hotel management background, along with heavy restaurant, food and beverage business as well, which was actually based in the UK, Hong Kong and Shanghai, and actually now in the US. And then a few years ago I decided to slightly step aside from the restaurant, day-to-day operations of restaurants and hotels, and I decided to embark on the placement industry.
What type of company is RWP and what kind of clients does it serve?
Okay, RWP Solutions is a boutique lifestyle management company that predominantly does all the recruiting and staffing for private homes, estates and corporations and luxury companies within the US and international actually.
What does it mean to be a butler valet?
A butler valet is a person that would take care of the home and all the personal business of the individuals within these private residences.
What's the difference between a butler and a valet? I understand there's different levels of this kind of service.
The butlers tend to stay predominantly in one residence, and they would take care of all the housekeepers, all the inventory of the homes, the fine art, the silverware. They would arrange for various collections, for travel arrangements, for the daily calendars and so forth of the home. They would also manage all the chefs and the drivers and coordinate everything. A valet would really tend to mainly deal with the clothing of the individuals, and they would be arranging to pack, unpack, maintain the clothes, press, sew possibly, and they would also travel from home to home with the individuals.
How do you find the perfect match with a client and a butler valet?
Okay, well, first of all, I would go to the homes. Normally, I would go to the homes of my clients, find out. We'd have a meeting. We'd have a sit down and talk about what their requirements would be. I would also assess the home and their needs, and then I would. And also the chemistry as well of what the individual and also the candidate as well, what they're looking for and what and put the right fix together.
What would be a typical lifestyle of a butler valet? Some live in residences, some live out. How do their responsibilities range?
Their responsibilities would range from organizing breakfast. Some of them would be cooking breakfast for the family. Others would be arranging travel arrangements. They could go from traveling from home to home. A lot of our clients have multiple residences, and they travel always, in private, so they always have the jets, the yachts, and so forth. So a butler would normally travel with the family, and they would also, some of them would also go ahead of time and open up the house, ready for the family who are visiting to make it all shipshape for them.
As a butler valet works more and gains more experience, how do the responsibilities change?
Well, they become part of the family, and they're very trusted. They have a very unique perspective into the lives of the ultra privileged, and they tend to stay with the families, and they grow. They see the children at school, their grandchildren. They stay with the families for a long time generally. And the salaries, they're rewarded for their longevity and also for their hard work, that they put in. And a salary for a butler would vary from anything from probably in New York here we're placing butlers around $85,000 up to 160,000. And some even go higher than that, but that's when you've been with a family for many, many years.
After a butler valet has gained a lot of experience, what else can they do? Where can they move on from there?
Where can they move on? Well, they could go up to being an estate manager, a major domo, which would then be like a managerial role, which would manage multiple estates as being the key person to manage these homes and yachts and planes. And then after that, they could be, and then beyond an estate manager, there's always the chief of staff in the corporate executive office as well.
How do their salaries change with those positions?
Well, their salaries can be anything from 200,000 up to 400,000.
Not bad.
Yes, with bonuses, of course. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Robert. Thanks to Robert Wynn Parry, CEO of RWP Solutions here in New York City. I'm Brittany Umar with TheStreet.com TV. Stay tuned for more.